Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
These words are very important words this morning, and they're aimed at all of us. So why is a car's windshield so large and the rear view mirror so small? Because our past is not as important as our future, so look ahead and move forward. Amen. Good morning, everybody. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America, followed by a patriot with our Pledge of Allegiance. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell, and welcome to the program this morning with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with a great big spring tire sale. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers, including Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. And also our friends at Valleywide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Everything for the farm, the home, and the ranch at Valleywide Home and Ranch. Right now, let's go to the phone line, and I certainly hope that we have a Pledge of Allegiance person. Enter and sign in, please.
Hi, Zeb.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Well, good. You do such a wonderful job with that pledge. Go ahead, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. It is a blessing and a treat to hear from you. Take care of yourself, all right?
You too.
All right, bye-bye. What a sweet gal. That's Abby. And we certainly appreciate hearing from her this morning. Oh, my goodness sakes, it's time we find out what the weather's going to be for this weekend. We got a little sprinkle here just a little bit ago. And the weather is brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. The number to call, 678-6945. Now, remember, they're going to be having another great big girls' night out. You better believe it, on May 1st. You better call and get all registered at 678-6945. And they've got all kinds of newly refurbished furniture, all your carpet and flooring, everything to make your house a home at Cheney Flooring and Home Design. Nice people. You give them a call or stop in today. Look for the blue door. Right now, here is Michael Rogers' weather.
Well, Zeb, the weather pretty much like we've been talking about all week. Starting to see a little bit of sitting out there. We got rain in the forecast today. I don't anticipate anything really large, nothing on the thunderstorm basis, just a spring storm going to be popping through and popping out. Temperature is going to be cooler once the front gets on the other side of you. So it looks for highs today. It's right around, I'm going to say, in the mid to low 60s. And then we'll start to walk back up towards the weekend. That's where it really gets good. It's going to taper off on Friday going into Saturday. Sunday you got a pretty nice looking day. But otherwise, got a front coming through, the springtime type of deal. No major warnings are out as far as winds are concerned, so you're going to be working your way into a nice spring weekend, and have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael Rogers, Weather.com, the world's best weatherman, brought to you by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. Hey, Merv May, come on in here, would you please?
All right, he gets the steer calves there. Here to get all the 31, 31 going out, 32, 2.
Oh, that's the chant of the world's best auctioneer, Merv May, over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley, with Merv May, Cade Rogge, and Lance Udy, bringing the gavel down this morning at 10 o'clock. You better believe it, the sale that works for you. Here's a partial list of some of the great cattle they're going through today. TLK Dairy out of Mountain Home, bringing in 64 head of butcher cows. Bob Park over to Malta. Hello, Bob. How are you? Trailer load of mixed yearlings coming in. Thompson Ranch over to Raft River, 20 head of 800-pound heifers. Kelly Searle. Hello, Kelly over at Burley, 35 head of Holstein steers. Oak Valley Dairy bringing in 30 head of cows. And there is going to be a big, big, long line of trailer line run cattle coming in. 10 a.m. starting time at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard. Today, sale day, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. For more information, call them 678-9411. Here now, Merv May, sell those steers.
All right, he gets the steer calves there. Here to get all the 31, 31 going out, 32, 2 and a half, 3 and a half, 134, 4 and a half, 5 and a half, 135, 50, 135 and a half, $7.35. Zeb Bell gets bottom.
You better believe it. Good morning, everybody, and we've got a full program on Thursdays today. Our thanks go out to Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Nice people. They've been with us on this program ever since the start, and we really appreciate them. They've got all your light bulbs over there. You will not be in the dark if you stop over to Ramsey Heating and Electric. And they've got all your wire and your fuses and your cords and all your fluorescent needs and everything. I mean, just everything for your heating and electric at Ramsey Heating and Electric. And don't forget, they open the doors at 7:30 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. Where they sell warm winters and cool summers. And that's at Ramsey Heating and Electric in Burley. You know, there's another business that I want to highlight here a little bit because they're so heavily involved in the community. And that's Valley White Home and Ranch at 910 South Oneida in Rupert. And Sean and Mandy, the whole crew over there. And by the way, don't forget 10% off for 4-H'ers for all their supplies and their feed needs. And Eric sent me a note, too, that it's soon going to be time for the second annual Antique Tractor Show that's going to be at Valley White over in Rupert. And the show dates are going to be on June 19th and 20th. So put that on your calendar. Lots of good things going on over at Valley White Home and Ranch. And don't forget, too, excellent fishing department. I keep stressing that. A lot of guys and gals want to go fishing, and they say, well, where can I get all my gear and equipment? Well, go to Valley White Home and Ranch, and they will also give you a 10% off discount card that's good for all this fishing season. Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. You stop in and see those good folks today. I shouldn't be bitter. I shouldn't be angry. I shouldn't say I told you so, but I am, and I will. Little by little, day by day, with this Obama administration, the hate and the vile statements that were made against me and my wife in 2008 are coming back to me, and I've got the file of every single one of them. Every one of them. And whether they were from dairymen, whether they were from bankers, whether they were from salesmen, whether they were from farmers, whether they were from lawyers, and they all were, condemning me and calling me a racist because I was against Obama. As I look at the news every day, and the one thing I've tried to do on this program is always perpetrate honesty of all the stories that we put on the air. And as I look at every day in the news with this president, and I use that term very loosely with Barack Obama, and I think back of these people in this Magic Valley that came out and condemned me as a racist because I didn't agree with Obama, I didn't agree with his politics, and I certainly never, even from the get-go, agreed with his ideology. And I thought about even mentioning their names on the air and mentioning and reading some of the emails. But I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. But I really want to say to those people that condemn me and advocated this president that I think you have put in office the most detestable, the most vile, and the most lackluster professional in his field of politics that could have ever taken over the Oval Office, and that is Barack Hussein Obama. And I just think that he will go down as the worst president ever in the history of this great country. And I have nothing more to say. I just would really like to have all of those people that sent all those vile statements and everything in a room. And I would like to get up in front of them and just stare at them for about 5 minutes and see how attached they are to Barack Obama right now. Calls are welcome, 436-2244. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. The biggest problem we've got in this country now is decay in the cities, mainly starting with Washington, D.C. And Obama supported de Blasio in New York City, where the hands of the police have been tied, and you've got all these naked women running around, nothing being done about it.
No, I know it.
Decay in San Francisco, where they have gay day parades, where people are running around and nothing on. This country, because of no leadership up in Washington, it's just in a big state of decay. What do we do about it?
I'll even go one step further. And I dare Democrats to call and argue with me. We are living now in American cesspool. It's a cesspool of filth and, using your word, decay. We have no values anymore. We have nothing of merit. We have no family values. And I absolutely agree with you that it's time to clean up Dodge City. And boy, I don't know if we've got a broom big enough.
I don't know, but if we don't get something done, we're going to have decay spreading in every major city in this country, and it's well on its way.
Tony, I can't argue with you, and I won't, because you're right. And every time I turn around and I turn on the news, Deanna and I were sitting there watching the news the other night, and we just started shaking our head. There is absolute chaos going on in this country with no leadership. None. Nada. Nothing from Washington, D.C. that shows any value at all. I absolutely have not one good word to say about this administration.
Well, the terrorist recruiters are going into our barrios and our slum sections and recruiting the people that live there who feel dissatisfied with what's going on in the country to join the terrorist groups to eventually take this country over.
I agree. Tony, we've got to keep up the fight. We've got to keep on keeping on, and I'm not going to weaken, especially. My absolute detestability of Obama and his henchmen and his administration just leads me to keep up the charge ever more. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Today is a special day. It's a very special day, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to take a minute right here to tell you. We are going to have Zeb's Lunch Bunch at Denny's Restaurant today at 11:30. Yes, it's a special day because we are celebrating an American hero, Russell Smith's 90th birthday, and we're going to be at Denny's celebrating that birthday, and we certainly hope you'll come join us. Yes, I am just honored to have him as a friend. I am honored to do this for him at Denny's Restaurant. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it's all great. Great menu. Super service. Very nice people. At Denny's Restaurant, 611 Overland and Burley, the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch, and they also have the other location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. I urge you to come down and join us at 11:30 today for Lunch Bunch as we pay tribute to an American hero, Russell Smith, for his 90th birthday. Also, I want to remind you, too, Barry Equipment and Rental. And I want to say thank you to the locations on Addison Avenue West in Twin Falls and South Lincoln and Jerome and 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Hey, they've got the Bobcat excavators, skid steer loaders, compact track loaders. They got them all there where you can work stronger, finish faster, and boost your productivity. The best is now even better. For all the equipment and all the jobs, I suggest you go into Berry Equipment and Rental today. And by the way, they're looking for a couple of real good full-time technicians. So give them a call. Find out more about those jobs available at Berry Equipment and Rental, serving you. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I want to throw in a little jab here, and I hope that I am wrong. I hope I have to apologize. I mean that. But my lovely bride has helped me put together this special birthday celebration with Russell Smith. And I want to say thanks in advance, and I mean this, to all the people that helped, especially people like Walmart and Smith's Food King and Handsome Mortuary with the gift donations today. And a special thank you to Stokes Food Center with Joan and Drew. They donated a birthday cake for this celebration that is absolutely, the word that comes to mind, phenomenal. And special thanks go to Stokes Food Center and those good people, Joan and Drew. I hope you're listening this morning. Thank you very much. But you know, here in this area, local news with local people as we celebrate a World War II veteran, 3-time Purple Heart recipient. I certainly hope the news media remembers the sacrifices Russell Smith made in World War II. And I hope the news media shows up to do a story on him out of respect for what he did for America. I don't want this, I'm too busy. I don't want this, well, we have other schedules. Because our World War II veterans are diminishing almost to complete extinction. If we can't find the time to be there and honor them, I will just say this: woe betide the people that don't show up, because I have a program on Monday and I'm taking names. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. I'd love to hear from you. And while I'm waiting for your call, don't forget Scott Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service at 336 South, 450 West of Paul. The number to call, 438-248-2485, yeah. My mind all of a sudden just went, zzz, we got a short. Anyway, they're looking for some good help, too. Scott's looking for some more people to really help. He is so doggone busy. He's increasing his work staff. And he wants folks that are really experienced with sprinklers and trees and tree trimming and everything. So give him a call, 438-2485. Gano Landscaping and Sprinkler Service, the best. You give them a call today. Also, our thank yous go out to Maisie, Penetron Soil Conditioner by Maisie. With a 21-year proven record of increasing yield and quality of all Idaho crops, helping speed germination, reducing crusting, improving stands, stimulating root growth and microbial activity, and building soil structure too. And Penetron can save you on your irrigation water. Yes, it can. Penetron treated crops have better roots that reduce the stress for water and nutrients. Increase your crop's performance with a proven soil conditioner, Penetron by Maisie. Contact your crop advisor today to obtain Penetron soil conditioner. And for more information and questions, you can call Adrian Arp at 734-2255. All right, give me a call, please. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Did you hear about Obama in the Everglades yesterday? He's down in Florida. And this just shows how phony and plastic, and people are starting to fall away from him like, I don't know. There's different analogies I could make, but maybe not acceptable on the radio. But anyway, he's down in Everglades, Florida yesterday. And they had put a podium right out on the edge of the Everglades, if you will. And people were invited to be a part of his speech for Earth Day. Well, it didn't go so good. And the president on Earth Day took Air Force One and flies all the way down to Florida. My goodness, all that jet fuel and the fumes in the air, according to the environmentalists and everything. Well, he lands down there, and he's going to give a speech about Earth Day and climate change. You know, now it's no longer global warming because, boy, I tell you, it was a chilly willy back on the East Coast all spring. So they're going to start calling it climate change from now on. And the problem was with the speech yesterday that photographers that were filming and shooting the speech had a really difficult time of getting the right angles. What do I mean by the right angles? Well, the right angles so that it would show people sitting in the seats watching and listening Obama. In other words, old Barack didn't draw a very big crowd in the Everglades. Probably had more gators in the water listening to him than he did people in the seats. And so the photographers had to kind of manipulate and move and coordinate and maybe do a little shopping on the photo ops there as to get the people in there so it looked like there was a full house supporting the president. But there wasn't. Kind of embarrassing for the president, wasn't it? Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, this lady is just absolutely so professional, and I'm talking about Christine Pickup, Doctor of Audiology over at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. It's no secret that I went over for a hearing screening about 3 weeks ago, and I learned a lot. I learned that I do have some diminishment of the hearing in one ear, and I also learned that there's things that can be done for it. She is extremely smart when it comes to hearing and hearing problems. So I urge you to get a hearing screening, and I urge you to take the time to get it done because hearing loss is not a part of aging, and do not ignore hearing loss. It's not an age problem. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids with Christine Pickup, Doctor of Audiology, right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, and the number to call, 312-0957. Here now, the Capital Press Ag Minute.
Today's Ag Minute brought to you by the Capital Press, the West Ag Weekly. After significant debate and several votes, Idaho lawmakers approved a rule that commercial elk breeders say will help their industry be more competitive, but opponents argue will endanger wild elk and other animals in Idaho. The rule lifts the state's ban on domestic elk from states where the meningeal worm is endemic. The parasite can cause fatal neurological problems in elk, sheep, goats, llamas, and alpacas. The rule change also requires elk to be treated for meningeal worm within 30 days of being shipped to Idaho. Commercial elk breeders told lawmakers they needed the restriction to be lifted so they can compete for genetics in elk with other western states that don't have the restriction. For the Capital Press Ag Minute, this is Brandon Tenner.
For more agriculture news and information, turn to the West Ag Weekly, the Capital Press, and CapitalPress.com.
Brought to you this hour by Mount Harrison Audiology. Absolutely. The number to call for a hearing screening test is 312-0957, 312-0957. You call and make an appointment today at Mount Harrison Audiology. I want to also remind you, Dr. History is back from China. That was a very interesting program this last Tuesday. Had a lot of people call about that. Stand by, caller. Don't forget, Dr. History every Tuesday is brought to you by Minnecasia Sales, 1321 East Main Street in Burley, right across from the airport. Old Zach and the rest of the crew over there serving you with almost everything. Lumber and shingles and windows and, oh my, they've got all that real good Tartar Farm and Ranch equipment. Oh my, Minnecasia Sales, 878-2091. You stop in and see them today. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Bell.
Sir.
I'd like to wish the very best birthday I can to my little buddy, Russell Smith. It's too bad that a lot of people keep forgetting what this little guy went through in World War II, what the American people went through with people like him protecting us. And then we got a bunch of fools in Congress, White House, and all over are forgetting about the trials and tribulations that them little fellows went through.
You know,
to me, I would back Russell 150%.
I'm going to be probably putting my boot in my mouth if I continue on this subject, because I was so mad this morning that I almost drove my fist right through the wall, thinking that some of the media locally are so busy with this, that, and the other for their little papers that they might not be available to come and witness a 90-year-old have his birthday that gave his life in World War II on the line and won 3 Purple Hearts. And he is one of the last of the dying breed of those World War II soldiers. And when somebody tells me, well, we don't know if we have time, oh, Al, that doesn't set good.
I know, but, it's funny that the way this world is going to hell in a handbasket in a hurry, it's because people don't give a good damn about what's going on when you got guys like Russell and his crowd that's put their lives on the line. And then we have to sit back here and listen to all this bull crap going on.
I would not be on this radio program. You would not be sitting on the other end of this line talking to me from your home very comfortably. None of this would be the same if we had not had the winning attitude of our soldiers in every conflict, every war, and every conflagration. I will do anything I can to honor them. I will do anything I can to stand up for them. And don't anybody give me excuses as to, oh, we're too busy.
Yeah. Also, I want to put out a deal to the Voice and them people, the papers. Get your butts over there and do a little bit of research on this little gentleman and give him accolades like he's got coming to him and do what's right with American people.
Very well stated.
That's all I got to say.
Very well stated. And I'm going to be taking names and counting noses. Thank you, Al.
Bye.
All right. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, there are people in the media, I know they have jobs to do, and I know there's busy schedules because I've been in the media now for 45 years. I think I know what I'm talking about. But when there's something special, and there's someone special, don't give me this garbage, and that's what it is. Oh, we're too busy. I won't accept that. Streamline, oh my goodness, I got to talk to you about some really professional people, and that's Streamline Precision. What can I say other than what I've said in the past? That they can get the jobs done, they can get everything built correctly to your time frames, what you expect. They are the best. All you have to do is call Tim Vaughn at 431-7314. That is a number to remember, 431-7314. Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley, and right next to Dot Foods. Now, they can build all the farm storage, the grain storage, and they're authorized dealers in Sukup, Chief, Balin, and Nucor buildings, and they can build anything. They're right now currently finishing up the brand new Funk Dairy straight south of me right here in Murtaugh. I'll tell you what, they are absolutely the best and make a coordinated, accurate, confidential, and consistent timeline to meet their clients' demanding needs. They are good. Call them for estimates on what you need at 431-7314. Tim is the man to talk to. Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley. The professionals building for you. All right, come on. Whoa, wait a minute. A little lull here. Come on, get on the phone. Give me a call. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Remember yesterday we were talking about the blonde bombshell of intelligence back at the White House, the spokesperson, Marie Harf? Whoa! Marie may have stuck a 5-inch high heel in her mouth and can't get it out because she may be gone. She may be gone as early as today, and might be somebody's opening the door for her and saying, bye, Marie. There are some people in the Obama administration that aren't real happy with Marie Harf because of some double speak. And, caller, I'm coming, don't go away. And she may be replaced, and I think this is wrong. I think this is wrong. She may be replaced with retired Rear Admiral. Why is that so hard for me to say? I got to try it again. Retired Rear Admiral. There we go, John Kirby. And I don't think that's good, because that would be putting another yes man on the docket. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
How are you this morning, young man?
I am fantabulous, sir.
Good. Got a question for you. I should know the answer, but I don't. Do we have to pay Obama a retirement when he leaves office?
Yes.
I don't think it's fair.
Personally, I'd like to see him apply for a job at Walmart.
Well, I would like to see him apply for a job at the dump.
I knew you wouldn't be very kind. And he gets a lot of safety protection with the Secret Service and everything, which is customary for all of our presidents, etc. But you know, you're bringing up a point that is a sore spot with me too. I honestly think that this man, in the remaining 337 days that he has in office, I think that we've got some major problems that he's going to cause and create, and I'm very worried.
Well, I do too. So I agree with you 110,000 times.
All right. Now, I'm going to see you this noon, aren't I?
We're planning on it.
All right, my friend. It wouldn't be the same without you. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Nice people right there. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, really, the spokespeople that Obama's had for the network news and all the press conferences and everything, and watching and listening on occasion to retired Rear Admiral, there I got it out really good, John Kirby in the past, and the eyes flicking back and forth and kind of a nervousness and always the yes man for the administration. You know, Marie Harf might have put her spike heels in her mouth on occasion, but I think I would trust her more than a military man that has to cover you-know-what with the questions and be a yes man to Obama. I don't know if this is going to be a good thing or not. I really don't. I want to talk to you a little bit about Hillary Clinton. You know, when you think about the Democratic Party, now, I know a lot of you say, well, I don't think about the Democratic Party. Why would I want to waste my time thinking about the Democratic Party? Well, you know that we have been very fair on this program, tried to be very fair. And we have called some of the illustrious Democrats in this area and invited them to come on the program, and some of which have been extremely rude. One, of course, along with being rude, was also very Heidi in her opinion of herself and hung up the phone on me. Now, I've given the Democrats more than an ample shot to come on this program. If they want to come in the studio, they're welcome to. If they want to do it on the phone, that is all the more for them. Whatever they want to do. But at least be honest and upfront about what's going on in their party, what's going on the platform for the party, and why they could possibly advocate back and try to push on the American public Hillary Clinton. You know, right now the floor is open. The floor is open for anybody to call me at 436-2244. And I promise you, if you're a supporter of Hillary, I will listen up to a point and then we'll have a conversation back and forth. But you got to tell me how in the world you could possibly support a person with a complete lack of honesty, a person that has been proven a fraud, has been proven a liar, and quite frankly has been proven criminal with the accessing of money through their Clinton Foundation, and maybe not the most honest fashion. And that seems to be coming out every day. And this morning I heard another bombshell, if you will, go against Hillary Clinton and husband Bill, that even the Russians have given money to the Clinton Foundation, and there were favors that were exchanged that maybe a lot of us are going to find out about in the future. I don't know. It's just, I think the Democrats could come up with a much better party structure and person to lead them in 2016 than Hillary Clinton. She's got so many holes in the screen door, the flies are living inside. Give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While I'm waiting for your call that I'm sure is coming in, I want to remind you about Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Now, I've been going over there, and I'm going to tell you, they pay for the commercial, but I'm not getting paid to tell you that they are the best. I mean that. They really know all the sports medicine exercises. They know all the exercises to help you get back to being you. And they do it in the most professional manner. Let me tell you, very, very friendly staff, and believe me, they know and understand what's going on. So, headed up by Nick Greenwell and the rest of the staff, I urge you to call them at 678-1191 and make an appointment. You'll be glad you did. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Like I said, they help you get back to feeling like you. All right, come on, give me a call, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, really, the trade for Bo Bergdahl. I was talking yesterday to some of my friends back in Washington, D.C., and we got on the subject of Bo Bergdahl, and they asked me, they said, well, you don't live that far from where he was born and raised and lived in Idaho, were you? And I said, no, it's only just a hop, skip, and a jump. And they said, well, how could this administration ever do anything so stupid and frivolous as trading 5 bad guys, really bad guys, for Bo Bergdahl, a deserter, and possibly even worse with the allegations that are being brought up? And I can't answer that question. It's unbelievable to me. And very, very, it just makes me mad to think that, like the Marine and Pastor Abedini and the newspaper writer and the doctor, all of these people that are now being held captive in Iran, very decent people that were not doing anything wrong. I want to emphasize that. Not doing a thing wrong, were arrested by the Iranian government, thrown in prison, and they're rotting away in a prison cell because this administration won't do a thing to get them out. Show me, tell me, prove to me one thing that this Obama administration has done to get them out. I'll tell you a person I think that has done more to bring awareness to this subject than anybody else, and that's Greta Van Susteren. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be sending her an email and let her know how much I appreciate what she's done on her program to try to bring awareness to these imprisoned Americans in Iran. Do you hear about this every day on the news media with NBC, CBS, and ABC? No. The main networks are gutless. The main networks only do what they can to help give salve to the wound of Obama. And they're not going to create any waves. They're not going to create any problem. And here's Greta. I think she's done more. And another gentleman that's done a lot, and I mean that. Now, I wasn't a fan of his prior to all this, but I am now, and that's Montel Williams. I mean, there's a guy that wears his emotions on his sleeve and is absolutely furious with Obama and this administration for not getting these people out of prison. And especially under the circumstances that we traded 5 killers, 5 absolutely worthless human beings that belong to terror groups, to bring back Bo Bergdahl, a deserter, and like I said earlier, possibly worse. But the others sit and rot and are beaten and are starved in a prison in Iran, and I don't hear anything from John Kerry, the State Department, or Obama himself. As a matter of fact, when Obama was walking in the halls of Congress to do the State of the Union speech, do you remember one of the people leaning over as he was walking through to get to the podium and he was shaking hands? One person, and I cannot tell you the name of the person because I didn't see the face, but you could hear it on the microphones. Basically, the question was, what are you doing, sir, to get our people released from Iran? And he just basically shined them on and said, well, we're working on it. What are they doing? What are they working on? What are they saying? You know, it goes back to, I had Dave Beagle on the program yesterday, and Dave is absolutely one of the biggest and best businessmen in America, employs thousands of people. And he's an author, and he really understands what's going on. He fought the SEIU union and whooped them. And it's like we were talking yesterday about this with Obama. What is he doing? What is John Kerry doing? And he said, too, that he would sit there at the negotiating table for about maybe 30 seconds and look across at the Iranian leadership and say, okay, boys, enough is enough. You want us to release the sanctions? You want us to take the pressure off? We want to have a phone call in 5 minutes that our American prisoners are being released and headed towards the safety of an American embassy. Exactly what I've said on this program for a long time. It's not happening. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. We're going to have the weather forecast right now, and it's brought to you by Ramsey Heating and Electric with Lennox Home Comfort Systems, and they're offering rebates on qualified Lennox Home Comfort Systems, whether it's a gas furnace, air conditioner, or a heat pump. You and your family will always enjoy the comfort. Call them at 678-0459, Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Here's Michael Rogers with the weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers for Zip at the Ranch. Got clouds here at the rain for today. This is the storm system is going to be popping through, and we're going to see pretty much on the side for today. But as we work our way towards the weekend, we're going to see some nice weather. So you got cloud chance of rain for today, tonight, also tapering off for tomorrow. And then the upper 60s overnight low could be down in the low 40s. As you work your way toward the weekend, especially Saturday going into Sunday, nice weather, nice Sunday coming up with a lot of sun and very little clouds. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
All right, thank you very much, Michael. Brought to you by Lennox Home Comfort Systems and Ramsey Heating and Electric, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. All right, calls welcome, and come on, give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Mentioned the other day about the Kirsten Powers, and Kirsten Powers is a very, very strong Democrat, liberal, left person in her writings and her attitude, but oh my, this conservative right here, me, is going to give her kudos for jumping up and hitting the keys on the typewriter and absolutely going after Barack Obama for his lack of standing up for Christianity, his lack of calling things the way they should be called in this world, with ISIS and others killing Christians just because they're Christians. And believe me, she really, like I mentioned yesterday, had a 2-column approach to the problem in USA Today. And I want to read a little bit of what she said. She said, Western leaders, including Obama, will be remembered for their near silence as this human rights tragedy unfolds. The president's mumblings about atrocities visited upon his fellow Christians are few and far between. It will be hard to forget his lecturing of Christians at the National Prayer Breakfast about the centuries-old Crusades, while Middle Eastern Christians are being harassed and driven from their homes, tortured, and murdered. She's right. And believe me, the whole article was extremely well written. And Kirsten Powers, a Democrat, now not at all a fan of Barack Hussein Obama. How about a call? 436-2244, 1-866-927 4587. Love to hear from you. And while I'm waiting for your calls, I also want to tell you a little bit about what's going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. It's a great big spring tire sale. Come on. Somebody give me a call here this morning. I'd like to hear your opinions on what we visited about so far this morning. Great big spring tire sale going on at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. And I mean big tire sale. I'm not talking little bitty. I'm talking huge. They've got passenger car tires on sale like the Ultra Z900. That is one of their best tires, all-season design. Woo, that's a good one. And for the pickups and SUVs, of course, they got the Wildcat AT2 and the Open Country AT2. All the tires you need for safe driving for this season are on sale. So check it out today. Best tire value promise in the industry and very convenient credit for tires and services at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. The best in brake service, the best in front end alignments and shocks and struts and batteries, and the list goes on. I mean, they really care and they are good. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Pauline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I mentioned earlier this morning, and I want to reiterate it again, that today we are going to be celebrating at Denny's Restaurant at 11:30 90-year birthday party for Russell Smith. I'm just absolutely so honored and so proud to know this gentleman, a 3-time recipient of the Purple Heart, fought for our country and its values, and to this day will not start the day without raising the flag and saluting the flag. And we're going to have that birthday party today at Denny's Restaurant. And I want to invite you. I mean, I'll invite anybody. Come on in. Say hello, shake his hand, and say congratulations. And I want to say something as a thank you also to another person before I thank everybody en masse. My wife has really helped me a lot put this thing together for Russell, and kind of took charge of getting all things lined out like the cake and the decorations and everything. So thanks to Deanne. And also our thanks go to Walmart and Smith's Food King and Hanson Mortuary. And like I mentioned earlier this morning, a special thank you to Joan and Drew over at Stokes Food Center. Oh my goodness. They donated the cake. And we went to pick it up yesterday, and I didn't think I'd have enough room in my car. It's huge. And we're just looking forward to a great time at 11:30. So I'm going to be jumping out of here a little bit early this morning and getting over there to get everything set up. And there's going to be some special amenities to our party today. And you'll hear and see them when I get there at 11:30. So once again, it's a tribute. It's a birthday party for Russell Smith, celebrating 90 years as a true red, white, and blue American, and we invite you to join us. Okay? Calls are welcome. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. By the way, too, coming up this weekend, I got to get this in first hour because I know I'll forget. I'm going to get so busy the next hour that Dan Tracy with the Elmo Boy Scouts called me up, and he says, "Hey, Zebber, this weekend on Saturday from 10 to 2, we've got a great big turkey shoot coming up, and that's going to be right by the cemetery in Elba. And they're going to have different prizes, like Sportsman's Warehouse provided a shotgun, and they've got custom-made knives by Glenn Cowling, and they've got all kinds of great prizes up there. Food's going to be there for purchase, and they're also going to have a silent auction, too. So don't forget, that's coming up on this Saturday, the Elmo Boy Scouts with a turkey shoot over at Elba from 10 to 2. Everybody try to be there. Don't miss it. And while I've got just a second here, I also got to get this on for Colonel Dale and Ray and the rest of the crew. The National Pioneer Hall of Fame is going to be presenting Pioneer Farm Days. And I've told Ray Bagby for, 20 years? that I was going to try to get over there, and I am going to try to get there this year, Ray, I promise. It's free to the public, fun for the whole family, and the Pioneer Farm Days are going to be Friday, May 8th, and Saturday, May 9th, from 10 to 4, and it's at 950 east of Declo, and they're going to have rides and covered wagons, man, just like the old days. I mean, you can experience all the jolting and the jostling and everything else. And they've got 6 Pioneer buildings to view and experience, and there's going to be a Dutch oven cooking and served from 11 to 3. I mean, they've got a blacksmith shop over there, a carriage shop, and Ray Bagby has just put a lot of time and effort into this thing. And that's going to be Pioneer Farm Days on Friday, May 8th, and Saturday, May 9th. I got to get over there this year, Ray. I promise I will. I'll do the very best. Next hour, we've got a full plate. We've got the Chamber Report, and Kay is over at the 1x1 Women's Conference that's at the Burley Best Western today, starting at 10 o'clock. And then we're going to have Dog Nation on, and then Rita's going to be on, and Starving to Death. And then at 10:10 this morning, you want to be listening. We've got the principal of the Declo High School, junior high school, Scott Muir, is going to be on the program, along with Vicky's Country Garden. Holy smokes, we got a whole litany of things to get through today. Zeb at the Ranch, and right now we're going to turn it back over to Wheels as we get ready for CBS News. I'll be back in about 6 minutes. Oh boy, here we go. Hour number 2, Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday. God bless everybody. Have a good day. Brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And, of course, some of our great advertisers, including Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, and Valley White Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Everything for the farm, the home, and the ranch. We're going to have a lovely lady on the program in just a moment with us, Kay Cameron, but stand by. I want to also acknowledge the fact that with us on this program for a long, long time, Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Number to remember and call, 436-5636. Very easy, 436-5636, with Joel Heward, the manager. Joel and the staff, they can travel to rural towns and churches, and they can help you with the arrangements. You don't always have to go to them. And they know that when there's the passing of a loved one, everything is thrown up in the air, and it's hard to dot all the I's and cross all the T's. They are there to help you. Always upholding the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. Please remember, Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert. Number to call, 436-5636. Also, don't forget, we never start the program in the morning at 8:06 without going right to our weather forecast with Michael Rogers Weather, brought to everybody by Cheney Flooring and Home Design, 1228 Oakley Avenue in Burley. Look for the blue door. Number to call, 678-6945. Whatever you need to make your house a home, carpet and flooring and kitchen construction, everything at Cheney Flooring and Home Design. I want to remind you, too, that there is a restaurant that is doing something really that's hard to achieve. 20-year anniversary. My goodness, the bells and the whistles and all the confetti and everything up in the air, and throw it and say hello and thank you to Steve-O's at 290 South 600 West of Hayburn. Steve-O's celebrating 20-year anniversary this week. That's right, friendliest servers, dedicated staff, and food just the way you like it. Delicious at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Hayburn, celebrating their 20-year anniversary. Right now, here's a young lady that is standing probably in the middle of the floor of the Women's 1x1 Seminar, sponsored by the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce. Here's the lovely Kay Cameron. Good morning.
That is true. I'm here in the middle of, we're just getting all of our vendors set up this morning, a lot of it, and a lot of things going on. It's going to be so much fun today. There's so many good prizes and so many good giveaways from all of our vendors, as well as our committee. They've got great prizes that they're giving away. Come by and check it out. It's going to be a fabulous day. We've got a great lineup of presentations. I see Diane Bevins getting all set up right now for her cooking demonstration first thing this morning, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
You know, setting this up, and I've put on a lot of events over my last 40 years, and you got to make sure you dot all the I's and cross all the T's, and it's not easy putting on one of these seminars, is it?
No, it's a lot of work, but I have a fabulous committee that has done a lot of work, and obviously you know that. You can't do anything by yourself, and there's always people to back you up, and we appreciate so much all of the help of all of our volunteer committee members because they've been awesome.
Well, Kay, tell us a little bit about it. It's called the One by One Women's Seminar, and the sponsoring agent is the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce at the Best Western Burley Inn. Now, question number one, is it too late to get tickets?
No, come by the door and you can just buy a ticket at the door and come in and join us. They will open the doors at 9:30, and I believe our first presentation, let's see, it starts at 10 o'clock. And we're going to have Diane doing a cooking demonstration.
All right.
I'm not sure what she's getting set up there, but it's going to be delicious.
All right. And give us a rundown of some of the other people that will be speaking and putting presentations on today.
We've got Alice Shank, Ben Nelson, and Jan Mittleider. All three of those are going to be great, motivational, inspirational, funny, and just so much fun. We're going to have a great day.
All right. Now, is there also a lot of businesses represented there with different booth space?
Yes, there's a whole variety of businesses, and like I said, there's all kinds of giveaways. I've seen lots of fabulous prizes and goodies and treats and pens and chapsticks and Kleenexes and all kinds of fun. Everybody who leaves the seminar always seems to take home a bag of flag.
You know, yesterday was Secretary's Day, or better put, Professional Administrative Day, and this is a great event that I certainly hope a lot of business leaders will let their people go to today.
Absolutely. If you may have forgotten to recognize the ladies in your office, send them over. It's a great way to recognize all their hard work throughout the year and show your appreciation to them.
What would you say, Kay, is the main theme of what you're trying to get across at this one-by-one women's seminar? What's the theme that people need to know about?
Well, everybody is a winner, and one by one, we can all do great things. I mean, one person can win a race, and one person can make things better. You know, the theme of our booth for the chamber is, let's see if I can find it, it's each member makes a difference in building our community. So one business is great, but together we can be more. And I think overall that, you know, it's so true in everything we do in life.
You know, I don't know if you keep tabs on all the people or anything, but how many people, normally, kind of an average for the years that this event is going on, how many people try to attend this event?
Oh, we usually have right around, I think, 250
oh my.
in attendance. So, and that also includes all of our vendors and all of the people that come with their vendors, because a lot of times they switch out and take turns because they don't want to participate. They want to listen to the speakers and they want to be a part of this.
Okay. Now, while I got you on the phone real quick before I let you go, anything else that you want to mention about the chamber and upcoming events? Anything else people need to know?
No, but I know that you always mention your sponsors, and I just have to give a quick shout out to my sponsors of my event today, because you know without sponsors things can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So Best Western Plus Burley Inn, Intermountain Casual Regional Medical Center, D.L. Evans Bank, Minidoka Memorial Hospital, Idaho Housing and Finance Association, and then our support sponsor today is Mount Harrison Audiology. So thank you to those sponsors, and just come down. It's going to be a fun day. Probably looking ahead, there's things I should talk about, but this is top of mind today.
You know, I tell you what, most of those sponsors are on this program also, and I know John Webster really well. Go over and kick him with your high heels and tell him I said hello.
I haven't even put on my high heels yet. I'm too busy running around. I'll put them on here in a little bit.
Now, it starts at 10 o'clock, so they still have time to get there, right?
Absolutely.
All right, Kay Cameron with the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce. I'm going to let you go so you can enjoy the day. God bless you, and thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much, Deb.
All right, take care. That's quite an event going on at the Best Western Burley Inn and Convention Center, and it's still time. You still got 45 minutes before the first speech and the first demonstration with Diane Bevan, and ladies just jump in the old car or pick them up truck and vroom, head over to the Best Western and be a part. It should be a lot of fun. For the ladies today, the one-by-one women's seminar sponsored by the Minnecasia Chamber of Commerce. All right. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Deanne, what did you just hand me here so that I don't have time to read it? Improper. This is what he's going to talk about this morning? He doesn't have a dog. I'll give him one. Okay. Ken Moore will be on the program with us in about 3 or 4 minutes. And one other little thing I want to mention real quick. I'm really concerned about this subject, and we're going to be talking to a couple of people next week on different segments that documents have been obtained by various news agencies that American veterans are being screened and programmed by the Department of Veterans Affairs and also the FBI. And veterans that they deem mentally incompetent or financially incapable are being looked at, and possibly the government is saying, no, they can't own guns. This situation has been lingering for quite a few months in the background, and now it's coming out to the forefront that possibly the FBI and the Veterans Administration, they're singling out various people and saying, well, financially they're having a little trouble and this, that, and the other. And they're saying, well, if that's the case, then they're blocking these veterans from possessing firearms. This is a story that we are not going to let go. We're going to try to find out more information next week, and I'm going to have some various people on the air. You can bet on that. Hey, we got to pay some bills real quick. Don't forget, Let's Ride. Let's Ride at 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and Heyburn. And if you're not aware of it, they have a showroom that is absolutely crammed and slammed full of ATVs and dirt bikes and all the accessories. I mean, holy buckets, it's all there. And right now is a great time, fantastic time to be going over there and checking out all the ATVs. And by the way, they got the Can-Am ATV side-by-side. Oh my. Check it out for fun up in the hills. And a great accessory department. And don't forget, if you have ATVs and you're getting ready to go someplace and enjoy the great outdoors, you forgot to have them serviced? No problem. Make an appointment over there by calling 436-4771. Let's Ride. 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and Heyburn. Yep, where the fun is sold. Also, real fast, while you're over on Highway 24, you don't want to forget about our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance. You better believe it. Dean and Todd, life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, they've got it all for you. And very dedicated and responsive to your needs. Please call the professionals and make an appointment today. 436-4424. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Oh, and by the way, too, real quick, don't forget Lennox at Ramsey Heating and Electric, offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems, whether it's a gas furnace, an air conditioner, or a heat pump. You and your family will always enjoy the comfort. All you have to do is just call them at 678-0459. Remember, Ramsey Heating and Electric can save you money with Lennox, warm winters and cool summers. Once again, a quick reminder so you have time to get ready. At 11:30 today, we are going to have that 90th birthday party honoring a hero. A hero, an American hero. 3 times Purple Heart recipient, Russell Smith, celebrating his 90th birthday today at 11:30 at Denny's Restaurant in I'd just like to see the whole place filled up with people that are there to say happy birthday, Russell, and thank you for all you did to keep America free. Yes, sir. And we're going to have some special things connected to that birthday party. So I urge you to try to be there at 11:30 today and help us celebrate a great American, Russell Smith, and we certainly do appreciate him. While I have just a moment before I go to Ken Moore with Minidoka Animal Control, I want to also remind you about Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley, right next to Dot Foods. Hello, Tim Vaughn, 431-7314. That's the man. That's the man that can handle all the estimates. You call and say, well, we're thinking about this building. Well, we're thinking about putting up this grain storage. Or, hey, we need big equipment to help get our farm rigs from field A to field B. Or we need a whole bunch of dirt brought in with your great big side dump trucks. They can handle it. Streamline Precision is a family of companies providing construction, excavation, and fabrication services for you. Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley, and the number to call, 431-7314. You give them a call today. Streamline Precision, the professionals building for you. Hey, where'd all these dogs come from anyway? Oh, my golly. Dogs. Dogs all over the place. Somebody go get that dachshund over there. Doggone it, here we go with Minidoka Animal Control and my buddy, Ken Moore. Good morning.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you today?
I am not bad. As a matter of fact, I'm looking forward to Lunch Bunch, and I hope you can be there.
I am definitely going to try to make it there. I want to definitely show my support for Russell and everything he has done.
There is no word like try. I want to hear a positive, I will be there, come heck or high water.
As long as I don't get called, I will be there.
Okay, buddy, thanks. Hey, have you got a dog for me today?
Actually, I don't. Everything we currently have in the facility is has been spoken for, or we've got one that we're waiting on because it got into somebody's chickens and killed some chickens, so we're trying to get the stuff taken care of with it because we do know who the owner is. So, but everything else we've got has already been spoken for and is scheduled to depart by this weekend.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, by the way, what about dogs, transportation of dogs? Is that something that we should have more knowledge on?
Well, I'm going to do a little bit of investigating. I didn't when I was talking to Dan earlier on that, I didn't have a chance to actually get in and find it, but I know I'd read somewhere on that on proper transporting of dogs on that, so I want to try to get that found and actually be able to do a little on that spot on here one day about it. But what I can remember of reading it, and that there are specific things that you need to make sure of when you're transporting a dog, because from what I was reading a few months ago, that it states stuff in that it is illegal to improperly transport a dog. For instance, on that one of the things it says is the containment on that. I mean, if it's like on a flatbed, or like when I've seen on that some of these guys that are out there transporting their dogs on top of the hay they've got piled up on the truck, where there's no ability for the dog to actually be secured on that and not fall off. That it actually follows on that from the way I was reading it under animal cruelty. And that, so they need to make sure that when they're transporting their dogs and stuff, and that they actually do it in a safe and proper manner. It's the same way as when we're in a vehicle or you're transporting your kids, you got to do it in a safe and proper manner.
You have touched on a subject here this morning that I may lose some friends over, but I'm going to be very blunt. I don't like to see dogs loose in the back of a pickup. I mean, I think that's really bothersome and scary for the dog, and also could be a safety hazard for other drivers. But there's also another thing that I've noticed. These guys will go by with their dogs in the back of the pickup, and for us that have dogs at farms and ranches, they go by and the dog's barking and they make our dogs go up by the road, and they're just creating all kinds of hazards that could be ill-conceived for not only the dog in the pickup, but also the dog on the ground that might get run over.
That is true, unfortunately, and stuff. And that time, like I say, I'm going to have to do some more research, but I will get that research done, and hopefully be able to have something for next week, and that for on the show, and that actually with the actual law number and everything like that on it, so that we can have it definite Annette, of what can and cannot be done and stuff in that when transporting dogs.
Let me ask you a question that you might maybe check on too, Ken. About 7 or 8 years ago, and I've talked about this story on this program before, I was in Twin Falls, and it was the angular parking, not the the horizontal up against the curb. It was the angular parking, and I pulled up next to a pickup and was getting out of my truck and reached down and got my crutches from underneath the seat in my pickup, turned around, and there in my face, snarling at me, is a great big German Shepherd that was laying in the back of the pickup truck and was just probably about 3 inches from my face. And maybe I scared him when I got out of my truck. Maybe he thought the crutches were going to hurt him or something. But boy, I'll tell you what, anybody can be in a real precarious situation in town when you get out of your vehicle and all of a sudden there's a dog in your face.
That is a concern. And I haven't, like I say, I haven't been able to find anything and stuff in it yet on that particular stuff. But I know it's scary. I mean, with when I go to Walmart over here in North Burley to go shopping with the kids, and you find dogs in the back of a pickup that aren't really tied in. If they were even showed any kind of aggression and stuff and wanted to jump out and attack somebody, I mean, they could. The owner of the dog and stuff and that could be cited for a vicious dog, depending on what the city ordinances are in each town, because each town has their own city ordinances and that defining what is considered a vicious dog. Some towns and stuff and that one bite or attempted bite and that is considered to be vicious. Other towns it takes two in order for it to be considered vicious. So
well, and there's another aspect here. When you take a dog to town, I know there's a lot of guys that take their dogs to town. Think about the ramifications and the legal hassles that might be involved, because city people go, oh, what a nice looking dog, and they walk over and try to pet it, and then they end up getting bit. It's not the dog's fault. He's protecting his property, perhaps in the back of the truck, and it's not the people's fault, really, because they're not smart enough to realize, oh, a dog, let's pet it. You know, all these things can cause huge financial problems.
Exactly. So, my recommendation to everybody is, unless you have to take your dog into town with you for like a vet appointment or something, if you're going someplace where there's going to be a lot of public, leave it at home, or if somebody did take their dog with them and stuff, people out there just don't assume, that it's a friendly dog, and go up and try to pet it. Just kind of stay clear of it, and we can try to reduce the issues and stuff of unwanted dog bites.
Well, I tell you what, it's a subject that there's a lot of different areas that you can get into, and I'd look forward to having you on the program talking about that. Anything else you want to mention about Minidoka Animal Control this morning?
Actually, I do. We've still got two of the horses that we'd seized, the 10-year-old gelding and the 10-year-old mare. And that right now we've got some people that are interested in them, but they're wanting to find out if they've ever been ridden or anything like that. But unfortunately, we can't get that done until we can get their feet trimmed, because their hooves are in bad shape. So right now we're trying to find people that might be able to help us with getting the expenses taken care of on getting their feet trimmed, so that we can actually get them tested on whether or not they can be ridden, or how close to being able to be ridden they are, because we've got people that are willing to take them as long as they can be ridden.
Well, Ken, do you have any background on these horses? Do you have anything as far as a little history on these horses? How are you going to obtain that?
Well, basically, Annette, we've got a couple individuals that said that once we get this done, that they will come in. The mayor actually asks, when you climb up onto a fence, how a lot of horses that have been ridden and stuff and that'll actually come right over to the fence like you're going to get onto them and everything. The mayor actually does that. The gelding, he just kind of looks at you and just stands where he's at. Mm-hmm. But they're willing to throw a saddle on and just see how they do with the saddle, and then if they're okay with the saddle on, then one of the individuals said that they would climb on, and just while the other individual was holding, just to make sure that whether or not they're going to buck or whatever, and try to keep control of them, and they just basically see Annette, if they've been broke or if they've been green broke or how they are.
These horses were basically taken from a situation to where they were absolutely not being cared for, correct?
Yes, they had been. I mean, when the original owner had them, I mean, he spent a lot of time with the two older ones.
Yeah,
and I mean, and you could tell. But then after he passed, Annette, they just started kind of being neglected and not being handled and stuff like that. So,
yeah.
But I mean, they were abandoned. The individual that had them, Annette, moved to California. We've never been able to get in contact with him and everything. So they were starting to lose weight. The hooves were starting to look real bad. I mean, they're chipped, cracked real bad. I mean, they've started to curl. But they're needing some tender loving care.
All right, and nobody I know would do a better job with that TLC than you are, and help find them good homes. Ken Mort, officer, Minidoka Animal Control Officer, and that was a good program this morning. Ken, you're doing a great job, and I will see you at 11:30.
Sounds great. I'll be there.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Where'd all these dogs come from anyway? Oh, my. Minidoka Animal Control with our dear friend, Officer Ken Mort. He does a wonderful job. Thanks, Ken. We appreciate it. Holy buckets. Let's get this lovely lady on the phone. I've got a list of about 37 different subjects to talk to her about this morning. Rita Ramsey, the world's falling apart.
She's calling right now, sir.
Okay. Okay, good. Let's see if we've got her on the air. I'll try that intro one more time. Rita Ramsey, the world is falling apart.
Oh, that was a double one. Thank you. It is falling apart. I'm ready to head for the bunker. How about you?
I had a gentleman call me, it's been after last week's program, and he said, "Oh, come on, the world's not that bad." And I said, "Really? Really? What rock are you laying under that you're not getting any newscast, newspaper, or whatever? Have you really heard what's going on?" And he goes, "Well, I try not to follow the news." And I said, "You know what? That's all the more reason for you to change and try to get involved. We need people that are going to help us turn the world back where it should be."
Well, that's what the very biggest problem is there's so many people say, "Well, I know the cost of food's up, and I hear all this nonsense on the news, and so I don't want to pay attention to the news. It's just depressing."
Oh, boy.
And they're so removed from it, they're just thinking, well, if I ignore it, it'll go away. That's what the politicians are actually hoping for. That's what the Obama kind of people are hoping, is that enough people will ignore what's going on and not do anything, that they can just go ahead with their agendas and do whatever they want to do. The only reason that they didn't get everything done in their very first session of the Congress was because the Tea Party people rose up and said, "You know what? We're not going to put up with this anymore." And they definitely weren't counting on that. And now they're just kind of hoping that those Tea Party people will keep subdued and be quiet and nobody else will be doing anything, so that they can just go forward and keep doing whatever they've been doing and get all of their agendas taken care of.
Rita, first hour, I'm sure you were listening, and I said that back in 2008, prior to the election of Obama, there were a lot of people, and you're aware of this because I came down to your business and talked to Keith about it. There were a lot of people that came out and they tried to hang that racist tag on me and everything because I was against Obama and his ideology, etc. While at the same time, I was advocating Condoleezza Rice, but they still came out and called me a racist. But where are these people today? Where are the backbone and the tough personalities, and where's the support for Obama? Where are these people that called me a racist and hated me for me not liking his ideology? Gee, they lost their spunk, have they not?
I think they're hiding under their rock because they know that Obama is horrible. How many signs have you seen that says, "I'm sorry, I'll repent, I voted for Obama"?
Really?
People that voted for him are just like, "I can't believe that I did that." There's a few, they say that there's a base, it's probably about 31-32% that would vote for Obama no matter what. They would approve anything he did no matter what. But you know what? Anything above that, he has just totally lost them because they're thinking, Where has this gone? This is just out of control.
I was, and I'm not going to mention names because I did not get a volunteer of using his name in this next statement, but I was on the phone day before yesterday with a very, very prominent businessman across the United States. And if I were to mention his name, many people have heard him, many people have talked to him on various newscasts. They've heard and seen him on network news. And he is not a conservative. He's basically independent. And he is sitting back in his chair, and he told me, he said, Zeb, I honestly think now that Obama is capable of doing anything to the American public and the American way of life to get things his way in the remaining time of office. That was a little spooky.
Well, it is, and that fellow is not alone. There are tons of Democrats out there that thought, this would be a good deal, to have a president who's black and young and upcoming, and we'll just have something other than the old white guy thing. And they thought, this was a new day. And Obama said all those things. He said, this is what we're going to do. And remember him saying, it's not a red America, it's not a blue America, it's a red, white, and blue America. We're all together in this. And, I'm going to represent everybody. And, everything he said has just been a big lie. But he has overreached, and his Justice Department has absolutely been in the middle of some of the biggest messes and won't acknowledge it. They won't prosecute. It was quite interesting that the very first thing the Justice Department had to do when Eric Holder was sworn in as Attorney General was to drop that voter intimidation thing with those Black Panthers. Mm-hmm. That's about the only thing that he has done other than just letting everything else go. And it's just starting to make me wonder what he's going to do when it comes to exonerating and giving pardons out, because there will be tons of them, and they'll probably be to some of the most horrible people that we can imagine.
Did it surprise you like it absolutely shocked me? It was like getting a slap upside the face when I opened up the USA Today the other day and was reading through the op-ed section, and there, Kristen Powers, an avowed liberal and leftist and Democrat, absolutely impaling Obama over his lack of respect for Christians.
Oh, yeah. Every once in a while she'll say something and you'll think, whoa, she's not quite as left as she can, and then the next thing you know, she's just totally defending him. But, she actually has a point there, and that's the big question for that all of us should be asking is, why? Why is somebody not coming to the rescue of all of these poor Christians around the world? And you know what's going to happen? This is what a lot of the people with the Jewish said. They just turned their head and let it happen, and it did happen, and it was because other people weren't doing it. But the saying goes, well, first they came for this group, and then they came for that group, and then they came for the Jews, and then they came for the Christians, and oh, whoops, I'm a Christian, I'm in that group. We have got to do something, and why nobody is doing something of paramount stature to make that happen. It's just like they were saying last night, and I can't even remember who it was, but they had a lady who was kind of had kind of a deal going with, it's like, did everybody forget the 200 Christian girls that they took in, that were kidnapped a year ago, and now all of a sudden it's like it just didn't happen. We're not worried about it anymore.
Yeah. Rita, I'm really going to fight on this. I'm really going to take any politician to task that wants to argue with me. I'm going to take any news outlet, any newspaper that wants to take me to task, because I guess if they want to call me an Islamophobe, I'll be one, because here's what's going on in this world that they can't seem to understand. And this is a quote from that newspaper article that Kirsten Powers had in USA Today. The Islamic State has offered the Christian community the opportunity to convert to Islam or pay a tax for being Christian or be killed. And then they have the audacity in this country to tell me there's no such thing as a holy war. They have the audacity to call me an Islamophobe because I'm not seeing Methodists, Mormons, and Lutherans going out and killing somebody.
No, you're absolutely right. And the other thing is that, and she mentions that you either pay a fine if you're not a Muslim. That's not the option. That will not be an option. All
That's
that
right.
will be is a way for them to separate out who is and who isn't. And so if you say, okay, well, I'll just pay a fine, but I'm not going to join up, it's kind of like, okay, you're next on the chopping block.
Yep. I want to shift gears here a little bit because I really was looking forward to having you on the air this morning. Already, I've got some heat from some unknown, unnamed ladies in the audience that are offended because I'm attacking Hillary Clinton as a possible president nominee. I want you to respond to that right after we take this caller. And caller, good morning. Quickly, you're on the air.
Yeah, good morning. Well, the thing that you alluded to is that the whole thing is a theocracy. It's religion combined with politics. And so in the Times News today, there was a lady saying that, most of the Muslims are peaceful people.
Yeah.
If their Quran, if they follow the Quran, there's about 109 verses in there that says either you convert or we kill you. And so if they're practicing Muslims, it's a theology, and when they get the sufficient numbers, they will do just like what's happened in France and Great Britain and so forth. They'll have their own little cells, and pretty soon they'll vote themselves into power.
All right, well, thank you, and we're going to discuss that some more. Thank you for your call this morning, my dear friend.
You're welcome.
Rita, go ahead and respond to that, please.
Well, I think that he's absolutely right. It is a holy war. If people want to disagree or not, that's fine. But the other thing is the fact that there are peaceful Muslims out there who want to make changes in their religion so that they can continue to worship the way that they've always been taught and not the radical stuff. Those people, they can come forward and start trying to do something, but I'll bet you that you could ask Zuhdi Jasser if he's on a hit list or if he's been threatened with his life, and I'm sure that he has. And so those people, even when they disagree and say, you know what, I'm a Muslim anyway, I just don't agree with your radicalization stuff, they're the ones who are going to be on the hit list, and those are the ones who are going to lose their lives probably ahead of some of the Christians. The big problem is that we can't tolerate it, and because we have gone and turned our back on what's going on, it started out with ISIS, remember the JV thing, and how, it's nothing to worry about, and several years ago, it probably wasn't something to worry about as much. But, when you make a number of blunders, and I think that Obama has in telling the world, our enemies included in that, of what we're not going to do, all that does is give them power to do whatever they want, because they'll go, well, they're not going to do this, and they're not going to do that, and they're not going to put boots on the ground, and they're not going to fight anymore, and this and that and the other, and they've got a president in here who's an appeaser, and all they're trying to do is just let's get along with everybody so we can do whatever we want, and pretty soon that just starts spreading and spreading, and look where it's at. The Middle East is totally torn up, and all of the Christian, all of the edifices and the statues and everything that's Christian has been just destroyed.
Yeah. History, our world history has been just laid to rubble because of these animals and these vermin that call themselves ISIS and Al-Qaeda, etc., and Boko Haram. And in talking about that, though, I'll go to Hillary Clinton in just a moment, but look at the world chaos. Look at what's going on. Look at the bombings and the killings and the shootings and the mess over in the Middle East. It is ready to blow sky high. Saudi Arabia is really starting to protect itself because of what's going on in Yemen. And then we're going to see other bordering states also say, hey, wait a minute, we got to get involved here. We got to have more weapons. This thing is about ready to grow into the Armageddon tinderbox that it can be and I think will be.
Well, it is, and the only hope that we've got is that Israel will go ahead and follow through. The problem is that they're going to have somebody to help them because they're going to be limited with what extent they can go to. But this deal with these other people in Iran's right at the very top of the list, saying we're going to destroy Israel. All they're doing is trying to provoke Israel into bombing them and starting it first. But Israel is not going to sit back and let it happen, and I just can't in my wildest dreams understand why the Senate and the Congress are not just up in arms, mad, and ready for a lynching mob of those who are ignoring what we need to help Israel with.
You know, that leads me again right back to Hillary, and I'm going to do the weather forecast, and I want you, from a female perspective, to tell me your likes and or dislikes of Hillary Clinton and why, how the Democrats are so sold on her as their number one nominee. Stand by just a minute. Right now, the weather forecast is brought to you by Mad River Laser. Don't forget, Mad River Laser, 502 East Street, right on the square in Rupert. Oh, they can do anything for business promotion items. They can put your logo or business name on anything. Shirts, jackets, T-shirts, caps, you name it, and it's absolutely first class. Everything that they do, Nicole and Alex Pratt, is absolutely first class. All the, of course, employee recognition plaques and just honestly everything. So please stop in and see my friends at Mad River Laser, and they're located at 502 East Street in Rupert. Here now is Michael Rogers' weather.
Hello everyone, Michael Rogers is up at the ranch. Got clouds here at the rain for today. This is the storm system is going to be popping through, and we're going to see pretty much on the side for today. Fluoride as we work way toward the weekend. We're going to see some nice weather. So you got cloud chance of rain for today, tonight, also tapering off with tomorrow. From the upper 60s, overnight low could be down in the low 40s. As you work your way toward the weekend, especially Saturday going into Sunday, nice weather, nice Sunday coming up with a lot of sun and very little clouds. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael. Brought to everybody by Mad River Laser, 502 East Street in Rupert. Really nice people. Okay, we're on the air with Rita Ramsey. Rita, go ahead. How does she get away with what she's getting away with? How did the Clintons, Bill and Hillary, get away with what they've done? They're crooks, they're liars, they're frauds. What other things can we throw in?
Well, I'll tell you how it started, and I'm sure that you remember this if you search back in your memory bank, back to about the early 90s when we started seeing all of this happening. The Clintons, when they would do stuff, there were so many people that say, well, I can't judge them because, nobody's perfect. And in other words, what they were saying is, if I judge somebody for being bad, that means I'm going to have to hold a higher standard myself individually. And I just don't want to have to do that. And the Clintons were part of the hippie group. They were the hippies in the late 60s, and that was just their thing, is the feel good, and we can do whatever we want, and oh, by the way, America's horrible, so let's go to Russia and kind of get involved with that, and let's do this. And I mean, they were totally against it, just like the Bill Ayers and a number of those others. They're all hippies now. They're in our universities, and it all comes down to, we were not willing to pass judgment and say, you know what, we're not going to put up with this from a president. I mean, the things that she did, remember her Whitewater thing, and there was the Travelgate, there was the cattle futures. I mean, Hillary was doing all of that. The Rose Law Firm, how all of that information was just automatically, oh my goodness, it's just disappeared. It must be just gone, and shows up a little bit later on, a few years later and everything. But people would not hold them accountable. You didn't hear anybody screaming and hollering that Nixon didn't really have to resign, because after all, it was his people that did that. It wasn't really him. I mean, he was a crook, yeah, but you know what? He at least had some integrity and said, okay, I'm responsible for this because I'm the guy at the top, and I resign.
Yeah.
And he did. Boy, old Clinton is like, well, let's see. It depends on what the definition of is. And then you've got all of these people who are willing to say, well, we can't hold them to a standard if we don't want to be judged, and so we'll turn our head the other way. It's not that bad. And I mean, after 20-some years of having people just being, in their court saying, okay, we'll let you do anything and we won't hold you accountable, why would they not be out of control? I mean, this deal that they have where they're collecting money, this trust they've got set up.
The Clinton Foundation.
Yeah. All the things that they're doing, and all the money that they're raking in, and all the things that they have done, the people they've associated with, and all of that, people should absolutely be mortified, saying, you know what? We are not going to put up with something like this. I mean, 3 years ago when the Benghazi thing happened, it was kind of like, well, no. Oh, well, we don't have to worry about it. No, it just means that we turned our back on people that we had serving over in Libya, and they just didn't want to have to deal with it. And it's nobody's fault, Poor Clinton, she just happened to be kind of the person in charge, so it wasn't really her fault. Well, there's no accountability anymore, and that's why we're in the mess we're in.
Well, Rita, I will say this. A lady called and criticized me, and she said, well, you just don't want a woman to be president. You're sexist. Well, you know something, Rita? I will say this on the air in front of everyone. If choosing Hillary Clinton as president is going to make it sound like I'm sexist and that I'm against her and that I don't want a woman as president, then the answer is yes. I don't want her as president, and not because she's a woman, but because she's a fraud, she's a charlatan, she's a liar, she's dishonest, the list goes on. I don't want her as president.
Actually, she should be serving time in prison is what she should be doing. And this is just the tactics of the left, is when Obama was running, and if you said anything about him, or still to this day, over 6 years later, when you say something bad about it, what's the first thing they say? You're just racist. Yep. You don't like black people.
That's right.
Blah, 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 blah.
That's right.
And it's the same thing with her. Now it's the gender card. Instead of the race card, it's the gender card. They don't have any kind of reason to be supporting her. She hasn't got any accomplishments or anything else. It's her turn, and we're going to put the crown on her, and it's just the way it's going to be, and we're just going to put up with it.
We have a caller with a question. Good morning. You're on the air. I've only got 4 minutes left, real fast.
I haven't got a question. I just want to make a statement. Do you remember when they left the White House? How much stuff left with them?
Yeah.
The damn thieves.
Yeah. She's right. Helen's always right. They did manage to abscond with various material. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yes, they took silver, they took china, they took the towels, they took everything. It was like they let their friends come in and everybody take something as a souvenir. When the Bushes got in there and saw all of these things missing and stuff like that, it was kind of like, holy cow. It's like you had some teenagers come in here and just help themselves out.
Rita, what do you have on behalf of the Tea Party? I really would like to hear that membership is growing. I would really like to hear that people are becoming more vocal. I would really like to hear that there's a public outcry going on against the Democrats and especially Hillary Clinton. Tell me that.
Well, as of yet, I haven't seen it pick up. I'm sure things are going to pick up as we get a little bit further along with this, but the deal is all of those people who said, yes, I believe the way that the Tea Party believes, I believe in those things, they're off busy taking their, taking life seriously, raising their family, working at their jobs, and they think, I just don't really have time to go to those meetings and learn anything. And I think that they are really missing the boat, because they should not only say, you know what, I should take time and I should bring my neighbor with me so that we can learn together, because at every one of our meetings we have a presentation of various different things. It might be different topics or whatever, of things that can learn. And I've never had anybody come away from one of our meetings that didn't say, you know what, I learned a ton. I'm so glad I came. That was a good meeting. And it is when you're learning stuff.
Absolutely. So when is and where is the next meeting of the Tea Party?
Our next meeting's on May 14th, and it's at the City Hall, and we were actually going to have Jim Schmelik come, but his schedule doesn't coordinate with that, so we'll have him a couple of months later. But we're having Elizabeth Allen Hodge come and talk to us about the Patriot Academy. And we'd like to invite anyone who has teenagers to bring their teenagers to that meeting and hear this presentation. This is the one that we had to fight with the school board and the school administrative office and the high school principal and everybody else, because they just didn't want to give somebody who might be a little conservative to teach the kids about the Constitution to come. They saw the presentation, invited them back, and then we had the big problem. No, you can't have them come back. They're too conservative. But this is an excellent academy for youth to attend, and it's in June. And we've got some scholarship monies available, and we're have some people that have committed that they will help us with scholarships if we've got youth that want to go. And this is an excellent thing for the kids. I think it's the ages 16 to 24 to attend, so that they can learn about the Constitution and the operations of government, but mostly about the Constitution and how it operates within the lawmakers' realm at the State House.
You know, I just absolutely tip my hat to you, Rita, and thank you for all that you do and all you're involved in, and especially for being on this program. You do a wonderful job. God bless you. I got to run. Rita Ramsey, thank you so much.
You bet. Goodbye. We'll see you.
You bet. Take care. Wonderful lady. Crash. Down goes the phone. My ear sets just went bing. Wonderful lady, Rita Ramsey. Thank you so very much for being on the program this morning. Are you hungry? I'm starved. I am really hungry right now this time of the morning. And if you're hungry and starving to death, I know some great places to go. Let's talk about some of them. How about Taco Bandito at 2301 Overland in Burley? Oh, Kip and the rest of the crew, they make that breakfast burrito. Scrambled eggs, bacon, and sausage, cheese, onions, tomatoes, and sauce on a tortilla shell. Knock your socks off. Delicious. What a great way to start the day. Stop in and check it out at the Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. Delicious. Oh, it sounds great. Let's move on over to Burgers, etc. Two locations, 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. Oh, my goodness sakes. After 3 p.m. in the afternoon, hamburgers are only 99 cents. I'm not kidding. And on Sundays, shrimp dinner special at the Burley store. You better stop over. They've got wonderful people working there at both locations, and believe me, the best of food. They really care. Burgers, etc. 124 South Oneida in Rupert and 700 North Overland in Burley. Hey, let's move over to somebody that's celebrating their 20-year anniversary. Food made the way you like it at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. Oh, my goodness sakes, yes, sirree, Bob. They've still got the pork chops with salad and choice of potatoes and the steak sandwiches and Steve's nacho fries topped with cheese and jalapeno peppers. You're going to love it. Stop over to Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 west of Heyburn. And last but not least, in our little tour guide of if you're starving to death, where to go, don't forget the AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Now, I've been telling you about that country fried steak on a bun. Oh, the country fried steak and a large farmer brown bun with their signature white sauce, lettuce, and Swiss cheese. Oh, doesn't that sound good? Doesn't that sound good? You better believe it. And, of course, the famous Farmer Brown burgers and the fries and all the different milkshakes. Delicious at the AC Drive-In, 601 East Main in Burley. And those are just a few great places to go if you're hungry and starving to death. And I am. We're going to take a little break. And then we're going to be back in about 6 minutes with all kinds of goodies, Cache County School Days, etc. Don't go away. Zeb at the Ranch, I'll be back in 6. Oh my, here we go. Hour number 3. Zeb at the Ranch on this Thursday, and welcome back. And, of course, brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And don't forget, too, some of our great advertisers, including Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, and, of course, our friends at Valley Wide Home and Ranch, 910 South Oneida in Rupert. Always everything for the farm, the home, and the ranch. Want to also acknowledge right now, hey, if you're looking for a place to go to lunch, don't forget the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Today, they're going to have beef stroganoff on egg noodles with garlic toast and super salad. It's going to be fantabulous at the Chadwick Sports Grill, 139 West Main in Burley. Really, really nice people, super menu, and, of course, all these great specials daily. You're going to love it at the Chadwick Sports Grill. You stop in and see them today. And I want to acknowledge, what did I do with my paper? Here it is. Our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric offering rebates on qualified Lennox home comfort systems, whether it's a gas furnace, air conditioner, a heat pump. You and your family will enjoy the comfort. All you have to do is call them at 678-0459, Ramsey Heating and Electric, saving you money along with Lennox, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. All of that. You betcha. In just a few minutes, we're going to have a guest with us on the Cache County School Days, so stand by for that. But before we do this morning, I'd like to remind you, I mentioned this last hour, and I had a call, and they wanted me to repeat it again, and I said I would. The National Pioneer Hall of Fame presents Pioneer Farm Days, and that's going to be over at Declo at 950 East in Declo, right there at Ray Bagby's, on Friday, May 8th and Saturday, May 9th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's a great event for the children, the family, and friends of all ages. There's going to be all kinds of activities out there on the Pioneer Farm Days, Friday, May 8th and Saturday, May 9th from 10 to 4. Don't forget that. And yes, Ray, I'm going to sure try to do my best to get over there and celebrate your Old West and Old Farm Days over there. Going to be good. Streamline Precision, let's not forget them at 120 South, 100 West of Burley, right next to Dot Foods. Tim Vaughn and the rest of the crew, the number to remember, 431-7314. That number again, 431-7314. Call Tim for estimates on anything you need built. Streamline Precision is a family of companies providing construction, excavation, and fabrication services, and they're an authorized dealer in Sukup, Chief Balin, and Nucor buildings, and they're building a lot of the on-the-farm grain bin storage right now. And don't forget, they're currently also building the brand new Funk Dairy right here in Murtaugh. And if you need dirt brought in, they've got those big side dump trucks, and they also have the big rigs for handling your big farm equipment to move from field A to field B, etc. All you have to do is just give them a call. Family of companies, Streamline Precision, 120 South, 100 West of Burley, the number to 431-7314. Let's move over to the phone lines, and we are going to have with us a guest this morning on Cache County School Days, and we'll have him by name in just a moment, but I want to remind you of our sponsor of Cache County School Days. First of all, A Child's World at 1308 Overland, and if you've got a baby coming into your family, they have the baby registries, and they've got all the special baby items, the clothing, and they've got all the cribs. They've got everything for the baby, along with free gift wrapping at A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And also the Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland. And if you're having numbness in your hands, maybe you have carpal tunnel. And this surgery is done a lot right there at the Ambulatory Surgery Center, along with colonoscopies and knee surgeries, etc. Please, locally owned by Joseph Peterson, orthopedic surgeon, and the number to call call is 677-8888. That number again, 677-8888. Ambulatory Surgery Center, along with the Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County. Let's go to the phone lines right now, and I believe we have with us the principal of the Declo Junior High, Scott Muir. Good morning, Scott. How are you?
Good, Zeb. How are you doing this morning?
Not too bad. You know, I was trying to scratch my head and remember, have you been on this program before?
I was last year.
I thought so, yeah. Well, I understand that you have come into a bunch of money through a grant called the 21st Century Grant, $190,000. Tell us how that's going to be divvied up.
Wow. Well, and that's a lot of money, and we feel really blessed to be able to receive that money. $190,000 actually is not over the 5 years. It's $190,000 per year for the next 5 years.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So basically what it is that $190,000 will be split up between four schools: Declo Junior High School, Declo Elementary School, White Pine Intermediate School, and Mountain View Elementary School. Mm-hmm. And it will be divvied up for after-school programs that we'll be required to do for this grant for students that may be struggling academically or even socially, and give them some opportunities to do some things with STEM education, and we got other programs on board like 4-H and different things like that. So,
wow, I mean, I thought it was over a 5-year period, but you're saying every year. I mean, this is amazing. How did you qualify to get that grant?
Well, we wrote a big grant, and the state does this every year. This grant is actually coming from the federal government. It was funded through the program No Child Left Behind, and it focuses on creating community learning centers for youth during non-school hours. And it's a highly competitive grant in every state. I don't remember exactly the amount of money that the state of Idaho receives from the feds every year, but I think they try to award up to somewhere between 8 and 10 entities. It doesn't just have to be a school district. A recreation center or something like that could apply for it also, but they have to be, or a company, they have to have a school district, a part of that grant as well. So we sat down and wrote this grant extensively, and we're fortunate enough to be awarded the grant. So,
well, tell us some of the usages of the money. I mean, it's basically, now correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, but it's basically for after-school hour opportunities. Is that correct?
That's correct. We're required 100 days per school year to offer a 3-hour program 4 days a week after school. So, for example, we get out of school at 3:05, so about 3:15 we'll kick this off, and we'll hold the kids here until 6:15. And then we're also required a 3-week summer program. Right now we're looking at 3 days a week, 6 hours a day for 3 weeks for a summer program. We're hoping to be able to get that started July 1st. That's when the funding comes from the state. It'll start July 1st of this year, and so we're hoping to get that 3-week program started up and running. And then the programs that we're looking at will, like I said, STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math. We're looking at some literacy programs, some healthy lifestyle programs, and then also it includes parent programs as well. And so we'll be looking at some of the things that we can do to involve some of our parents from the community.
How did the kids, I know that a lot of times when I was in school, way back when they still circled the wagons, when the bell rang, all you saw was the back of my Wrangler pockets going out the door. How do you keep these kids interested in something like this?
Well, and that's the goal. The kids that, and I hate this word to use it, but I'm going to use it anyway, the kids we'll be targeting or looking at will be those that are, like I said, struggling academically. And so the hope is, and oftentimes some of these kids, as you know, are parents are working a couple of jobs, and so sometimes these kids go home after school and a big brother's taking care of them or a big sister's taking care of them, or they're home alone. And so our hope is that we'll be able to incorporate those students into these programs and hopefully get them excited to enjoy this type of thing that will get them to school every day during the school day, because they'll have to be here in order to be able to participate in the program after school.
Scott, basically, and again, pardon me for my choice of words on this, but I'm pretty blunt. It's more than an opportunity for a babysitting service until mom and dad get home. It's actually a learning experience, right?
Absolutely. And that's the goal, again, to get them excited about something. You know, in education, we all know that in our day-to-day, we've got to be able to help students figure out what their niche is. And so we're hoping with some of these programs not only to teach literacy, but also maybe get them excited into something else. Maybe it's 4-H. We've got a few other doctors around that are going to help us out and come in and talk about how they got into their career and do some things like that and do some training. And so there's some in-kind things that are going on as well that the surrounding community will also be in support of this. And that's where we're really looking at the help. The businesses in the community, both Burley and Declo, we've reached out to some of them specifically, and they've written us letters and said, yes, we'd love to be a part of this program and help you guys out in any way.
Scott, do you find that in this kind of a setting, after school, after the last bell, that a lot of these kids that might be introverted and not really outgoing during the school day and there are other classes, that they kind of come out of their shell and they exercise more of an overt personality?
I think some of them do, and that's obviously what one of our probably hidden goals is, to be able to help them feel included in the regular school day. Oftentimes these kids, for whatever reason, it could be as much as bullying, harassment going on towards them, and we're hoping to be able to help them gain some confidence in themselves and teach them some of those things where maybe that doesn't take, not that it's not going to take place, but maybe they have the courage or something to be able to stand up or find trust in an adult where they can share that with them, and we can kind of work through these processes and help them feel better about themselves all the way around.
Have you seen or heard or witnessed yourself success programs with these kids? I mean, it must be really gratifying to see them come out of that shell and want to take part in more of these programs.
Yeah. You know, in my career as an administrator, we've seen some programs like this. I have not been involved specifically in this program, but a sister district where I once worked, they had very successful programs to this effect. In fact, it was the 21st Century Grant in their district, and they saw some great things happening. And again, it does work with those kids that may not get. And so we're not talking about the kids that are participating in every sport throughout the year, or that mom and dad are able to afford to take them to piano lessons and dance lessons and do all these other things. We're talking about those kids that may not have that opportunity, and again, we're trying to tap into something there that might get them excited about it and kind of go from there.
Let me ask you this question. I mean, not only the kids' involvement, but you've got to have the teacher involvement. Is it hard to find teachers that want to remain after school, after hours, and be a part of this 21st Century Grant?
Of course it is, and then that's one of the things that we're looking at. But on the flip side of that, for example, at Declo Junior High School, we'll be looking at three employees, if you will, a teacher and probably 2 paraprofessionals that will help us. But the real work comes from our in-kind business folks in the community that are really going to donate their time and come in and work with these kids. So, you know, our parapros and our teacher are going to kind of be there to help out as well, maybe do some after-school tutoring and some of that stuff. But the communities are really on board with this, and the businesses, and they're the ones that are going to come in and give us those opportunities and help us with that educational stuff as well. So it's going to be a positive all the way around.
Let me ask you right there, you made a point of interest that I wanted to ask a question about. How do you approach the various businesses in the area and ascertain who you want involved and possibly who not, and what do you prepare for them as far as kind of an agenda, how they can be involved in this program?
Well, we were fortunate enough to be able, for me it was kind of blind. I'm fairly new in the community. This was my second year as principal here in Declo. So, but those people that you know, and you just kind of go out and start reaching, and goodness gracious, it was overwhelming the amount of people that were interested in a program like this and to help us out. And so some of the things that we've talked about is, you know, let's say we got an artist coming in, and so they're going to come in and show us some art things, and they might do that on a 2 or 3 week basis. Maybe not every day, but maybe a couple of days during the week. And these kids are going to have, let me go back a little bit, these kids are going to have several choices throughout the day. So it's not just going to be art for one student, for a group of students. It's going to be 2 or 3 choices that these kids will be able to go to, and we'll rotate through that. But we'll give them ideas. There's going to be a community, a community committee where we'll talk about these things with the principals and the teachers and some of the community members and what we can do. We have to, obviously with a federal grant, we have to put together the data and show the growth and do all of these things, and that's going to come from that committee and making decisions that, we may start off a little bit hard to do. It may start off hard to do, but as we go along, we'll look at it and say, we need to adjust here. This doesn't seem to be working. We need to adjust here, and kind of go from there.
Absolutely. Now, if people and or businesses have questions, how can they find out more?
Call me here at Declo Junior High School, or Sandra Miller at the central office. She and I are both a part of that. Also, we've got Matt Seeley, principal over at White Pine, Kevin Lloyd, the principal at Declo Junior High School, and Dustin Heath at White Pine. So any of those 5 would be willing, I'm sure, to answer any kind of questions that they might have. And we're targeting right now approximately 130 kids between the 4 schools. Mm-hmm. Now, as we get more volunteer opportunities from businesses, that program could definitely grow.
Okay.
And so right now we're looking at approximately 35 kids per school, give or take. And then, and like I said, as that program grows a little bit and we get more people that are interested in volunteering, then we can grow the program for more kids as well.
Well, I want to tell you how much I appreciate your taking the time to come on our program this morning. The principal of Declo Junior High School, Scott Muir, excellent presentation this morning talking about the 21st Century Grant. Thank you, Scott, and please come back anytime and be on the program with us, please.
Hey, appreciate you taking the time to give us an opportunity to be on your show. It's a great show, and likewise, we hope to see you again.
All right, thank you very much. Interesting gentleman and great educator, Scott Muir, Declo Junior High principal, and we thank him very much for being on Cassia County School Days, and of course brought to you by A Child's World at 1308 Overland in Burley and Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley, bringing you every Thursday right here on Zeb at the Ranch, and that's of course Cassia County School Days. We're going to be going on the phone here in just a moment and talking to a dear, dear friend of mine, so stand by. In just a few moments, we're going to have Kevin from Daryl's Cleaners on the phone. I want to remind you that at about 10:32 this morning, we're going to have Vicky's Country Garden bringing the program called Gardening for Idiots, named after me, and we're going to answer any and all of your gardening questions. So be ready to call in and ask Vicky anything about gardens, planting of gardens, everything at 10:32 this morning, Vicky's Country Gardens. Let's go back over to Wheels at our main studio and see if we have Kevin on the line. Kevin, are you there with Daryl's Cleaners?
I am.
How are you this morning, my dear friend?
Great. Beautiful day.
It is, but you're always cooped up inside no matter what the weather is.
I got a window I can look out.
Okay. Hey, tell us a little bit about Daryl's Cleaners. I have bragged on you folks for years and years and years. I've been all over the world literally and never found a cleaners as good as you are to take their rumply crumplies in and have them come back looking brand spanking new. What is the measure of success for a dry cleaners? How do you make yourself better than others?
With special care and attention. We don't just clean it and quit at that point. We check it over. We do everything possible, and all of our work here is actually hand done. So we have the opportunity to see every inch of the garment and make sure that we've got all the spots out that we can get out, and every wrinkle out that we can get out.
Okay. Now, Kevin, you and I have talked many times when I've been in there that a lot of people, they'll maybe go up in the attic and they'll find some old clothing, maybe that their great-great-grandparents had or something, and they're thinking, oh, well, it's no good. We can't do anything with it. We might as well just throw it out and discard it. But, there's a lot of chance that maybe you could restore the ability and the availability of keeping that garment. Isn't that true?
Yes. Cleaning is always good for a garment because it's actually the dirt in it that is an abrasive and causes the wear the most, other than actually wearing. But to hang around dirty or whatever, and then you put it on with dirt in it or anything else, that's what's causing. Anytime it's moved with that dust and stuff in it, it's a mild abrasive, and it's wearing on the fabric, on the fibers.
So if they bring it in and have you take a look at it, there might be a more than 50% chance that maybe you can restore that item, and they won't have to just pitch it in the trash barrel.
That's true.
Okay. One other thing I was really interested about is, I'm not a smoker, and when you go into somebody's home, you can always kind of take up some of the smells and everything, and it seems like the drapes. Are the drapes kind of a big catcher of various smells, and how often should people have their drapes clean hanging in their house?
If you don't want to have to replace them every so often, then they should be cleaned probably at least every 5 years or so.
Really?
Yeah, if you think about the way your system, your furnace and air conditioning system works in your house, most of your registers and vents are down located near the wall. Those drapes act like a filter, and when your air is circulating around through the house, coming up, blowing back, and sucking back down, it's almost like a magnet. They pick up every, if you burn a chicken on the stove, the drapes you'll be able to smell it in the drapes. They'll pick it up.
Oh my. One other question I wanted to ask you real quickly. I heard a rumor someplace, and I talked to you about it. Somebody came out on television and said that dry cleaning is hard on clothes. I think just the opposite. It absolutely helps preserve them. How would you respond to that?
Well, I just for the heck of it, I took a tissue that you would blow your nose on, and I threw it in with 30 pounds of clothes, and ran it with a regular load of clothes it took about an hour. And when the machine come out, you would expect nothing left. In fact, if you put that tissue in the toilet and just let it sit there for a minute, it will dissolve. But this tissue came out, and I blew my nose on it and threw it away.
Okay. So basically, that put to rest any thoughts about dry cleaning being hard on clothes, right?
Right. It's the gentlest thing you can actually do. And people might turn around and say, well, how could it possibly get it clean? But one of the things that dry cleaning is a disinfectant. It disinfects. The only way you can at home, water doesn't disinfect. You have to use bleaches to kill any bugs or germs. Dry cleaning does that automatically.
And I want to ask you, I was reading some of the papers that I got from you. Insects can do a lot of damage to clothing, can't they?
Yes, they can. When the clothes are dirty, maybe you've got a spill on there on your winter wool coat, and you hung it away in the closet without cleaning it first. It's not the wool itself, it's that spot that the moth lays its eggs near, and when they hatch, they're eating that spot. It's a food spot, they're eating that spot, but because it's soaked into the fibers, they're obviously gnawing away at the thread. And you don't notice that. It's not visible because it's at a microscopic level. But once it's cleaned, all those broken fibers come out, and then that's when you see moth holes and moth damage.
I see. Well, I want to tell you, folks, if you're not going to Daryl's Cleaners, you're going to the wrong place, because I'll guarantee you Daryl's Cleaners is the best at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. We've been going there for years and years and years, and I'm fussy about my clothes because of all the public speaking and everything, and they are the greatest. Burley, Idaho, Daryl's Cleaners. Stop in and see them. And Kevin, thank you so much for being on the program this morning.
Well, thank you, Zeb, and get your stuff done. You're ready to come pick it up.
Okay. Thanks, Kevin. God bless.
All right.
Thank you much. Yep, I'm always leaving some shirts or something over there, Wrangler jeans, you name it, and they are the best. Daryl's Cleaners at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. Really, really nice folks. Hey, we've got to send this back over to our main studios, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes. Don't you go away.
And And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Thank you very much, and welcome back at Zeb at the Ranch on a Thursday. And we have with us on the phone a lovely lady, Vicky at Vicky's Country Garden, 185 South, 600 West of Paul, with our program, Gardening for Idiots. Me. Good morning, Vicky.
Good morning, Zeb. How are we doing this morning?
Not too bad. And like they said in the fairy tale books, how does your garden grow?
Very nicely in this weather. It's just nice and cool, and everything gets off to a good start.
I had some questions phoned in, and one of the questions is almost a repeat year after year. I can remember this question. Lady called in, and she said, how deep should we either plow or rototill our garden?
Well, that's a dang good question, to be honest with you, because rototillers usually don't get very deep. Go as deep as the rototiller will go. I mean, if you're using just a basic rototiller, drop it in just as deep as you can get it. It's really a great idea if at least if you can do it once every year or at least every other year, if you can get a plow into your garden and really go down, because a plow will flip over about 14, 16 inches or more.
Yeah.
And it really turns your garden and keeps your soil rotating to where you've got new nutrients coming up all the time.
Might be a little difficult to get that big John Deere in the back of a city lot, though, wouldn't it?
It is. That is the problem with some of the smaller gardens. They do have the smaller tractors that you could rent at some of the rental places that have like little small two-bottom plows and things like that that can go in, and can get in tighter places. But even those are too big sometimes. So if you're using a rototiller, just go over it good, but drop it in just as deep as you can get it.
Okay, now another lady from over in Jerome called, and she said, the only place that my husband and I have for a garden is in very, very thick, rich, sticky clay soil. Will my garden grow?
Yeah, it'll grow in that. You might want to come in with some compost to loosen it up a little bit, or even some soil aid with some of the bark fines and stuff like that to kind of lighten it and aerate it just a little bit. Just watch your watering on that kind of soil, because usually that heavy, deep, rich, it doesn't need as much water as the sandy soil does.
Okay.
You can get into trouble with too much water on it.
All right. And we have a caller with a question right now on the telephone. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
I live in an old gravel. I've hauled in potato dirt to build my garden with, and I haven't done much with it in the past 7 years. Would it help if, before I killed it, if I went and got some compost and put on it?
Compost is always a good thing to put into dirt, even potato dirt. I don't know what kind of spud dirt it was. Some of that can be kind of heavy ground too, because spuds do well in heavy ground. But compost is going to just put in some good microorganisms into it, and lighten it and loosen it up a little bit. It's just a real good plus for your soil.
I brought some dirt over in the yard from the sugar factory, and boy, I sure have regretted that.
Yeah, you have to be real careful with that, because if you've got that, you're gonna have to use a lot of soil sulfur on that, because that's got a lot of it's real high pH in there, and not much is going to grow. So unfortunately, compost the daylights out of it and put a bunch, and I mean like 4 to 5 pounds of soil sulfur per 100 square feet on it.
All right.
Caller, I only got one load of it.
Yeah, don't get any more unless you're using it for fill dirt.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, caller. I appreciate that. And calls are welcome, 436-2244. We got another caller, and this lady wants to know, and she says, I am a first-time gardener. I have lived my whole life in the inner city in Pennsylvania. And she says, I moved out here and I want to have a big garden, but how far apart do I plant the rows?
Well, that's the answer to that is, do you want to be able to run a small rototiller down to take care of the weed problem? Then you want to make sure that your rows are wide enough that you can get a tiller down without damaging roots and plants. So in other words, you'd have to measure your rototiller to see, and then give it 5 or 6 inches on each side. So therefore, you're going to space your rows a lot further apart. If you're just going to hand hoe it, however big your feet are, you can get it there.
Boy, I tell you, we're really professional here. You don't want Shaquille O'Neal out in your garden.
But, I mean, you can get your rows closer together if you're going to hand, if you're going to hoe it yourself, just by hand. But a lot of people have it set up to where they want to be able to run a tiller down.
Right.
Different crops need wider rows. Spuds get bigger, so you've got to give those more room. You've got to have your rows probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 foot apart, so those spuds don't get too tight where you can't get down the rows. Corn needs to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 14 inches apart, from center to center on your corn. Radishes, lettuce, and that can be closer because they're smaller tops on them. And so you can put those in the side of your garden so you can get your rows a little tighter and utilize your garden more.
That kind of goes along with the next question and the last question that I had for this week. Is a lady wrote in this question. She said, are there different crops or different varieties of plants in a garden that should not be planted together right next to each other?
Well, like potatoes potatoes want to be over on an edge of a garden because, again, they're a bigger plant, they take up more room, and they don't need as much water as, say, radishes and lettuce and carrots and, your small, like beans and things like that. Spuds don't need as much water because they're a deeper rooted plant. Corn is one that needs in a spot where you can get it quite a bit of water because you want to be able to have it in an area where you can get water to it more frequently.
Yeah.
Because as it grows, it needs a lot of water, that type of thing. Squashes and that, they need a lot of room to grow. Usually use those down in the bottom of your garden so they can kind of grow and cover the bottom of your garden. Don't try putting them up in the middle of your radishes and lettuces because that ain't going to work because the radishes and lettuces are not going to find daylight ever.
Yeah, and one other thing I can tell you from my own personal experience, the first year I grew a garden, do not put your pumpkins and everything in the middle.
No.
On
the ends, on the bottom side of your garden, so they've got room to roam.
Well, now tell us, what's the gardening tip for today? What would you tell people now as we're going into the 1st of May?
Well, it is warming up. If you've got some good cover for tomatoes to where you could, because we could still get a frost, as we all know, you could go ahead and start getting your tomatoes in. I would hold on peppers. They like warmer ground than we've got. But you've got seeds and stuff that pretty much a lot of seeds can start going in now, besides your peas and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And we have a new thing in this right now.
Uh-oh, what's that?
Everybody has had trouble with sod webworm and grubs in their lawn. We have nematodes that you can put down in your lawn, and they will eat the sod webworm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Microscopic little nematodes, and the farmers are going to absolutely freak on me. Because they're going to think those nematodes are going to eat their beets. Nope, mine are trained. They stay right in the lawn, and they only eat sod webworm and grubs.
Is that what you were doing the other night? We went by at about midnight, and there was a light on, and I got a feeling that you had a whip and a chair, and you were training them.
I was back there working with them, teaching them where they had to stay. But they do work. It's a non-chemical way, but you put them on your lawn, and they literally. Well, you put them on when the when the grubs and that are coming available, which is about the first part of May, and they will just keep them ate down to where that's all they live on, and when their source of food is gone, they die and go away also.
Vicki, we've only got about 2 or 3 minutes left here, and I want you agreed with me on this a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about this. It's being tougher and tougher and tougher for gardening and farming and agriculture in general to get rid of the pests because of the doggone government involvement. Isn't that true?
Yes, it is. They're putting more restrictions on us. They're making it safer for all of us. So that's why all of the good chemicals are being taken off the market, and we're down to the pyrethrins and the pyrethroids that you have to use more often because they are a safer product, because I guess they don't figure we're smart enough to be able to know how to use a chemical, so they're going to make it so it's safe enough for us.
I see. And by the way, right now is a good opportunity for you to tell everybody your hours that you're open, your location, and any specials that are going on right now.
Well, our hours are 9 to 6 now, Monday through Friday. Saturdays we open at 9, and we'll be here till probably 4 or 5, depending on how many people are still here. We're not open on Sundays yet, but we will be in the next couple of weeks. And, we're right on the Burley-Paul Highway, just before you get into Paul. So just look for us. You can't miss us. And we are just now getting in another semi-load of brand new shrubs and fancy little ornamental trees and some really fun things for everybody's yard and garden, which is a good time right now to get them planted.
Oh, and real quick, too, in years past that you've been on this program with me, you can help them with a lot of the landscaping, with figuring out where to put certain things, can't you?
Oh, yeah, just bring me a picture on your phone or a picture, off your computer or something of what kind of an area we're working with. And, yeah, we can give you lots of ideas and help you figure out how to put things in so that they'll grow and not die, because you got to know what needs sun, what needs shade, and wind, and all of those good things. And we can sure help you with all that. All right.
This is the lovely Miss Vicki of Vicki's Country Garden at 185 South, 600 West of Paul, and the number to call, 438-5663. Vicki, have a wonderful week, and I'll look forward to next weekend or next Thursday with more questions.
There you go. We'll answer them.
All right. God bless. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thanks, Zep.
Appreciate it. Right now, we're going to have the weather forecast, and the weather is brought to you this hour by our friends at Scarrows Meats. That's right. They sell taste one bite at a time at 331 North Road, Jerome. Telephone number to call, 324-7657. And they've got that special, the $300 tax return meat package. What? Yes, it has beef and pork and chicken and cheese. Oh, it's delicious. Delicious. And you check it out by calling 324-7657, Scarrows Meats. I'll tell you more in just a minute. Right now, here's Michael Rogers' weather.
Hello, everyone. Michael Rogers for Zip at the Ranch. Got clouds here at the rain for today. This is the storm system that's going to be popping through, and we're going to see pretty much on the side for today. But as we work our way towards the weekend, we're going to see some nice weather. So you got cloud chance of rain for today, tonight, also tapering off for tomorrow. And then the upper 60s, the overnight low could be down in the low 40s. As you work your way toward the weekend, especially Saturday going into Sunday, nice weather, nice Sunday coming up with a lot of sun and very little clouds. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.
Thank you, Michael, and brought to everybody by Scarrows Meats. As I said, they're located at 331 North Road, Jerome. Telephone number 324-7657. Scarrows Meats. Selling taste one bite at a time. Absolutely really good, folks. Now, I want to bring you up to speed as to what I'm going to be doing here in the next couple of minutes. I'm going to be adiosing and hitting the highway and going to Denny's restaurant. Why? Because we're celebrating at 11:30 today the 90th birthday party for Russell Smith. War hero, 3 times recipient of the Purple Heart, and it's his 90th birthday, and we're going to have all kinds of fun down there, and we invite you to join us at Denny's restaurant, 611 Overland in Burley. Like I said, I'm going to hustle out of here in just a few minutes, hit the road and be down there at Denny's, and we'd love to have you be a part of it, so stop on by. While I have just a moment here, I want to remind you, too, about a big spring tire sale. At your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All the tires on sale, like the Ultra Z900 for your passenger cars and the Wildcat AT2 on the pickups and SUVs, always with the best tire value promise in the industry and convenient credit for tires and services. So there you go. It's easy to go in and make sure you drive safely with all the goodies from your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. The best in brake service, and I mean the best. The very best in front-end alignment, shocks and struts, and batteries. And service, top of the line, absolutely the best people serving you. Stop in and see Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, John on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Now, next Monday, we've got a full slate of guests coming on the program. Going to be a busy week next week as we get ready to leave this month of April and go into the month of May. And we invite you to stay tuned and participate in our program every day and give us a call. Wheels is over at the main station, and he's going to finish out the program for us this morning with some patriotic music in honor of Russell Smith's birthday that is going to be celebrated at Denny's Denny's in just a little bit. 90th birthday party, and we're heading on down the road to get everything finished as far as decoration and everything, so we'll see you there. Wheels, I thank you for your help, and God bless everybody. The way things were are the way things ought to be. Zeb at the ranch, and we'll see you at Denny's in a little more than a half hour.